There's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father. And as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome Charlie Parra, who is a touring musician who's played alongside some of the biggest names in metal and rock and roll, including Jericho, Dino Cazares, Angelo Batio, and I know I'm going to screw this up when I say these next names, but El Estepero, Sabriano, and Spanish heavy metal band Saratoga. Charlie has also particularly interesting claim to fame as he began creating videos as a YouTuber in 2008. That's long before the term YouTuber and all this craziness that's going on right now. So he's been at this for a very long time. And his videos that he's put out, man, has been viral, especially with his video Punk versus Metal, which now has 10 million views to date. From there, Charlie was given the opportunity to join the Canadian band Cobra and the Lotus, supporting Steel Panther, Sonata, Architecta, I probably said that fucking wrong, and Fear Factory around Europe, the UK, the US, and Canada. Charlie has released singles, TIEMPO, Sigma, featuring Dino Cazares of the Mighty Fear Factory, and Pulsar. Also, Charlie is set for a summer of tours with Saratoga and Quarantine. So, Charlie, welcome to the podcast, and man, you've done hit success with YouTube, and I'm working hard at it. So congratulations, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much, bud, and thank you for having me here. I really appreciate that you've been saying all these cool things about me. I truly appreciate it.
It's not a problem. So how excited are you to release these new singles, Tiempo, Sigma, featuring, of course, Dino Cazares of the Mighty Fear Factory, and Pulsar? Did they turn out exactly the way you wanted them to?
Thing is that I met Dino back in the day, probably 11 years ago while we were on tour. When I was playing for Cobra and the Lotus. This band is a power metal band from Canada. Not really a cool experience with them, but the great thing was that I got to meet Dino Cazares, which was great. We were, we have a very South American and Latino heritage, right? So we bonded pretty fast, and we always were talking about making music together in the long term. After the tour, when the tour ends, we could do something together, like a collab or something. And finally, we got to do that recently. It's been really awesome, and it's really cool because I'm a huge fan, right? And we were discussing what we wanted to do. We wanted to do something that could sound like Descent, a little bit of Descent, a little bit of Self-Bias Resistor. And he asked me I should do some melodies and some shredding on the track, and we got that pretty cool. It's been pretty cool. And about Angelo Batio, it's a pretty similar story because I started as a big fan, right? A big fan, and then we started talking, and we got the chance to work together on this song. And it's I feel pretty grateful and blessed of being able to make music with a couple of my guitar heroes. It's pretty fun.
It's odd because Dino Cazares has been on this podcast many times. Angelo Batio has been on this podcast several times. So it's just a revolving door. So that's pretty cool. This is very, very cool. I want to know this. How did you end up being in the Canadian band Cobra and the Lotus, and you had Peruvian band Massacre, as well as pursuing a solo career that led to the release of original music that you're doing, supporting Slash, The Cult, Mr. Big, and Angra? Man, and you've even performed at Hellfest in France. That's huge. Very fucking huge. How did all this come together in joining those bands and going down the road with those releases with those other musicians?
Basically, it started because of that viral video you were talking about, Punk versus Metal, right? It's a 2-minute video, right? And the thing is that I started recording my performances in live shows. My goal was to record these performances so I could check them out at home and see where I was fucking up, so I could improve those parts. But then I said, what if I start uploading these videos too, like the live shows too? And that pretty much saved me a lot of time doing auditions or stuff, because these guys, like the Canadian guys, what they did, the manager just did. She just sent me a message and told me, hey, do you want to join this band? We're going to tour Europe, the UK, and Canada, and we want you to be the lead guitar player. And I'm like, but what? I'm not going to do any audition or anything. I said, no, because we already watched your live videos too. They sent me the ticket, and that was it. And it's a pretty similar thing what happened with the power metal band from Spain, Saratoga. They sent me a message on Instagram, and also Chris Jericho did. So I think that all these videos and all this stuff that I was sharing, besides the usual internet content, right, that you record a video, you edit the video, that's cool. But also, I think that it was really, really useful that I used to record my live performances, so they can see that I actually can be on tour, and it's not like just an edited video, right? I think that helped a lot. I think that I would have never thought they would work that way.
It's crazy to think on how YouTube is now. It's a beast. I mean, it's so cool that musicians like yourself and upcoming musicians who are very talented, very talented, can post their videos, and then hopefully somebody picks them up. And I would say 7 out of the 10 times they're picked up by a band. And I mean, they are very talented guitar and music and vocalists out there, and musicians, period.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I've had the chance to work with this drummer. Have you ever heard of Estepario Siberiano? He's like he's huge name right now he's got like, probably he's the biggest YouTube channel drum related right now. And thing is, I got the chance to work with him, and you get to learn a lot of stuff with people. He's like way younger than me. He's like 26 or something, and he's been like on TikTok for quite a while. And it's like crazy. It's, for example, I've been playing guitar for 20 years, plus 20 years, right? But when I get to meet people from the newer generations, when I'm like, I don't know, in the airport or anything, they're like, hey, Charlie Parra, the guy from TikTok. It's like, all these hours, sleepless nights playing guitar now are reduced to being the guy from TikTok, right? But it's fine. It's good, because in the end, it's going to bring good stuff to you.
Does that fuel your fire still, watching those musicians like that, to maybe add something to your repertoire? Like, man, I gotta keep doing this. I gotta keep getting better.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, times have changed, and people have access to, I'm a student. I'm a guitar student, right? Because every time like you grab your guitar, there's something new to learn. And there are so many options that you can learn from, right? The bad thing is that some of this stuff is misinformation, right? Which sucks. So I truly believe that now when people talk about talent and being lucky and stuff like that, I think there's something all over that it's discipline. And I realized that a little bit late in life and the hard way, but still, at least it's not too late. And yeah, discipline is key. It's the only thing that's going to bring you, to be better stuff, to better tours, to keep you on the road, keep you like, answering messages and, having a good time. Because in the end, if you're not a disciplined guy, if you're not, good at work and somebody that you can work with, you're probably on tour once and that's it.
You found your love for electric guitar at the age of 15 after a therapist suggested to your family that you should play guitar to improve your skills and school grades after being diagnosed with ADHD and kicked out of school. When did you realize though, Charlie, while learning to play guitar, that this may be something very special for your outlet?
Because my main goal was to be a Marine. I really wanted to be a Marine. Yeah, okay. It's crazy. I have a lot of friends and family that are, in the Marines, and that was my goal. But in the end, I realized that if I become a Marine, I'm not going to be able to play guitar, not the way I wanted to. But I realized maybe if I switch this, because you find your passion. I became passionate about it. Before that, I was not passionate about anything except for wrestling. So I really wanted to to be a musician at that time, and I thought that was impossible back in the day, or maybe like I never thought that I would be able to leave my country ever, ever. It's not that I had a plan. It's just like things started to happen, but it's a consequence of working, right? And yeah, man, I just fell in love with guitar for several reasons. I actually got to this Appetite for Destruction cassette tape, right?
Oh,
And here's
yeah.
the story. I that cassette tape. I was, in this religious group when I was like 9 or something with Catholic people, and one of the Catholic guides, he had this Appetite for Destruction cassette, and there's like this cross with skulls, right? And I found it so
Oh, yeah.
fascinating, and I started to play the cassette. In the end, I ended up stealing the cassette, which sucks. But yeah, I still keep it. And actually, I got to meet Slash, and he hand signed it after I opened his show here in Lima. That was crazy.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Isn't it crazy? And I've done this many times that you purchase an album solely on the cover art, hoping that it's a banger, hoping that it is.
Yeah. And actually, it's like that's how it started. I mean, Slash is pretty much the one that I said, I want to play guitar. I want to be a musician, but I want to play guitar. And then a lot of guitar heroes started appearing on the road, right? Like Randy Rhoads, Ace Frehley, Vinnie Vincent, Angelo Batio. And because Angelo Batio was the first guy I saw that he could actually go on tour with a backing track, because people want to listen to his shredding and his melodies, right? And I said, I should start doing that. And that's how I got the gig on Hellfest. I just brought my backing tracks, my guitar, and that was it. That was fun. I don't know any French. I mean, my English right now, dude, 10 years ago, I couldn't speak like this. But now, like, people actually think that I'm from San Diego, which is crazy. And yeah, the people think I'm a surfer. And the thing is that I didn't know any French, but still I could play guitar. And, it's like C minor, it's C minor everywhere. So it was not that hard to get, the people to listen and to have a good time there. So it was a great experience. That was the first time I said, man, music is the worldwide language. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I the only thing I could speak in French was bonjour mademoiselle, s'il vous plaît la bière, which means hey lady, can you bring me a beer? But that's it. And everything else is shredding the notes and playing the guitar. It was crazy. It's been crazy.
It's so crazy that you mentioned the language barrier, because there's so many people in different cultures and languages that, especially going over to Japan, I have seen them sing like Ozzy and Priest and all these old school bands. Man, they're singing the English to it, but they can't speak a lick of English. And I'm going, this is insane.
Yes, I've seen those videos. Like that Japan tour, that the Use Your Illusion videos that are in Japan. It's crazy. But everybody wants to know, right? Everybody understands what's going on. They don't understand what they're saying, but they understand what's going on. That's great.
Right. I got introduced to Metallica first. That was my first love of music right there. I love Metallica. It's my favorite band of all time. The very first video that I saw, though, that really grabbed me onto metal music was Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle.
Love it. I love it.
And then
I love
you see no, I know what it was. Sweet Child of Mine. It was Sweet Child of Mine. And you see Slash up there playing a guitar like so cool, like he just effortlessly, like, I'm cool. Look at me play my guitar in my hat and you can't see my face. And I'm just like, I want to do that. It's like,
absolutely.
Oh man, it's so cool. So badass.
It's like, when I think of that, now that you say it, one of the first time I watched like Guns N' Roses videos, and then years later I get to meet the guy. That was crazy, man. It was like the only thing that we did not talk about music or anything. He actually offered me chicken. That was great. And then I asked him, he's the kind of guy that I actually, here's something like really cool, that I am actually the first South American artist to have a signature model with Kramer guitars by Gibson.
That is right. Mm-hmm.
And I brought one of my first model, the first one, I brought it to this show with Slash. And I actually asked Slash, hey man, can you hand sign my guitar? And he said, yeah, sure. He brings the Sharpie, right? he's about to hand sign it, and he, Charlie, are you sure I'm gonna ruin your guitar? And I'm like, dude, come on, don't be like that. Great guy. I'll never forget that. Never.
Do you feel like it's come full circle back to you when you meet these guys? It does for me when I'm shaking their hand, and that's all I want. I just want to meet these people. I just want to meet them face to face and tell them how much their music has meant to me, and I'm doing this because of what they have inspired in me. Is that the same thing for you? Has it come full circle, you think?
I mean, I have those moments 3 times probably with Slash, of course. Once with Marty Friedman. I was
Oh.
supposed to play a gig in at NAM, actually, when I was introducing my signature guitar. And I was to perform like a quick set, like a 3-song set or something. And one of the guys in Dunlop MXR tells me, man, you got to meet someone that wants to wish you good luck before your show. And that was Marty Friedman. And it was great because the only thing he told me was, hey, man, I think we both use the same shampoo. And he left. That was great. And then man, here's a good one. Last year, I got to play with there was this event called Kiss Cancer Goodbye with Todd Kearns, was the frontman of the band. So that made me like his Slash for a night, right? And thing is that we were at backstage and the dressing room, and it's like I'm with my heroes. With Bruce Kulick was there. I played with Bruce Kulick at the same stage, which is great. The same song, that was great. And there was Ace Frehley there too, right? And thing is that we're at the same dressing room, and I performed with a symphonic orchestra here in my country, and we performed Love Gun. And the makeup girl, she actually made my makeup like Ace in 1978, the one that has the blue things, right?
Yeah.
And I go on stage, I perform with a huge symphonic orchestra. I'm performing Love Gun, and I showed that to Ace. He was like, "Hey, kid, that was pretty cool." And then we have and it was pretty thrilled. I have like a spaceman here, right?
See that?
So,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, man, like this was like a couple months ago, and Ace actually went, hey, little kid, let's have a selfie. He's huge. He's a really tall guy, right? And then we have the selfie, and he slaps me in the head. That was great because I felt that it was actually true love.
Yeah.
It was like this guy. It's Ace Frehley, the one and only spaceman, and that was crazy because I could show that picture to my childhood friends. It's like, dude, you remember we had these posters of the spaceman and everything? Now, he slapped me in the head, and that was great. And I will never forget it. Hey, little kid.
I think that's the greatest impression I've ever heard in my damn life.
Oh, that's really awesome. You just made my day with that one.
Oh man. Hey, what's going on, little kid? Get a Les Paul. Fuck the rest of the shit. Yeah. God.
Well,
Funny.
that was fun. That was really fun. I mean, it's like I've got the privilege of playing with most of my guitar heroes, so it's really awesome. I'm really blessed, and I'm really grateful for that, by far.
So was it difficult to step away in 2017 and 18 when you did realize that you needed to get help due to exhaustion and substance abuse and physical and just mental health issues? Was it difficult to just step away for a while and just recharge, basically?
Yeah, it was really hard decision, but I could tell that I was doing everything wrong. Like everything was bad. Even the videos were super bad. My health, I couldn't be on tour back in the day because I had not a single gram of protein in my body. I was like really hitting hard. And the only way that I could actually get back on the road or get back on doing internet content was like stop and get help and, get a fresh start. I thought I wouldn't be able to. I actually really pretty much thought that was the end, like the end of the road. But it wasn't, because I think that the moment I realized that I really needed to get help and I really needed to stop was key. And the fact that I was right now, I'm not like a little kid anymore, or I'm not even 20s. So I think that kind of, I don't know if it's growing up. I don't know if the proper term is growing up, but I think that, being in my late 30s, just gave me so much knowledge that I really needed now, right? That I couldn't be like playing like the rock and roll game, the way it's not the 80s anymore. You got to
No.
take care of yourself in every single way of everything, right? If I wasn't, I think that the last time I got into a tour with Saratoga, the power metal band from Spain, we were in 6 countries in 12 days.
Goodness.
It's like, I know it's plain. It's not like the States that when you go and play other cities, you can drive. My last tour with Chris Jericho in quarantine, distance was like a 3-hour drive or 2-hour drive. It was crazy good. But in South America, everything is by plane, and yeah, it was crazy. And I truly believe that if we are not disciplined, if we do not take care of ourselves, we're not going to last 3 shows. Not now that, you need to sleep hours. You need to be like in tour mode, tour shape, mindset, right? And I think that's what I learned from that time. If I did not hit, rock bottom, I would have never like realized that I could do it again in a better way, in a proper way.
What was your first song that you actually got down pat that you were very proud of? A cover or anything that you said, "Hey man, check this out. Look what I can play." I know you had to have one.
I would say Mr. Crawley, because I did this version of Mr. Crawley while I was on tour with Parra del Riego. And I do not play the song note by note. I made like a tribute, right? And now it has like 5 million views or something on YouTube, because it's like I'm in this hotel room, and I had my laptop and I had my guitar and I had, my Line 6 pod back in the day. So I started recording, and I never thought I would get that big, that video, because there's like a lot of factors there that I'm playing with headphones, and the headphones almost fall off my ears, but I picked them up like instantly. You should watch it. It's pretty cool, and one of my favorite videos, because that's the thing. I never thought that a video that I shot in a room would get so viral. That was crazy.
I think that's one of my all-time favorite Aussie songs, and it's just how it all comes together. Especially hearing it live. It's back in I don't know if it's early 70s or 80s when this song come out, but they were playing live. It was recorded at a New York studio for a show to air late at night. And man, just that synthesizer, those keyboards, everything, when it started and you hear Randy's guitar, just, authentic live. It's just so mesmerizing, and it grabs you. It's like, oh, Mr. Crowley. Then I'm boom, boom, boom. Like, yeah.
Are you talking about that video that they're in this studio
Yes.
where Rudy Sarso is on bass?
Yes. Yeah.
I got to meet Rudy Sarso twice. Once in Creatures Fest in Nashville when we were playing with Quarantine with the band. Actually, Quarantine is like a Kiss tribute band, but we do the non-makeup Kiss. Like okay. I'm supposed to be the South American Beanie Vincent or something in this band, right? Yeah. But then I met him again in Jericho Cruise. Quiet Riot was playing there. It was such a class act meeting Rudy Sarso, because he's like the guy from Quiet Riot, White Snake. He's one of the last guys that got to play with Randy Rhoads, right?
Yes.
In his peak, like his prime. And I don't even know if Randy Rhoads had a low point, because his prime was like he actually disappeared in his prime, which is crazy. But it was really cool to hang out with one of the guys that was playing there in that recording you just mentioned, the one with Rudy Sarso. Dude, good stuff, legendary stuff.
So with these singles that's just been released, what led the single TIEMPO to be the first song released from you, man? What was it about that one that you just want to put out first? Was it just sitting there, or just the first one done and said, let's go, let's put it out?
It's crazy because that's actually a rehearsal session. We were just rehearsing with the guys. That's a song I wrote back in 2006.
Wow.
And I wanted to re-record it with new arrangements. I wanted to have like a dual guitar thing there, right? And I got myself a really cool guitar player there. And that's what I wanted to do, to make it like a proper version of the song. That was pretty much. I recorded it one day before going on tour with Quarantine and Chris Jericho. And the rehearsal turned out so good that I said, I'm going to release it this way. I mean, it's not like studio super quality, but I said, it sounds like, true 80s metal. by far. So we're gonna keep that one.
That's so cool to hear the backstories on some of these songs. And I mention this a lot, that a lot of these fans, and I'm not knocking them whatsoever, it's just they don't really dive into it as much as I do. When you talk to these musicians and stuff, it's like, just because these songs make an album doesn't mean they're freshly brand new. Just like you said, you can have one that's 10, 20, even 35 years old, and I just pulled it out of a notebook or whatever. I've had it on my hard drive, and it's crazy. Like, it finally sees a light of day, and it's magic.
Yeah, it's like the song I did with Dino Cazares. That riff, that little riff, he sent me a demo like a long time ago, like 2020, something like that. But I wanted to have it like properly mixed. And there's this guy called Adair Doffenbach. He's in LA. He's from Brazil. He works with Kiko Loureiro, with Angra. And he did a great job, because when I sent him like the rough one, it did not sound the way it sounds now. And the same happened with the Angelo Batio track. It's like I sent him just everything, and I said, can you mix this and make it sound like the way it should? And I'm really happy with the result, and the fans are too, which is the most important thing in the end.
How's the feedback been on the release of all these singles, these new singles that you've been putting out, man? What's been the fuel that's been fueling your fire, actually?
I think, like, most of the people like this singles, right? Because it's like the guy from Peru sharing, music with his guitar heroes, right? Which is cool. Right. But at the same time, it's like, it's good stuff. Like in the case of Angelo Batio, like he did great. He was Angelo Batio being Angelo Batio, right? He was like we had like this reference track. I told him I want to do something like I'm on the freight train, but instrumental, like the Nitro song. It's like, let's do it something like this, but no Jim Gillette this time. And with Dino was like kind of the same thing, because we were talking about distant and self-biased resistor, like the melodic, like open string riff, and then going with he's got one of the fastest right hands in the business, in the whole music scene. And it was really cool to have that, because I'm supposed to do the melodies and shredding and the chorus and everything. And once I try to play the riff, and dude, it's Dino Cazares. It's a great riff. It's like really hard to keep on with it. It's awesome. And I love him. I love Dino. What a great guy.
You've been doing this for a very long time, but what's the growth musically you've seen from yourself that impresses you the most moving forward with your music and a musician?
I think that the fact that getting to tour at least 6 times a year, it's like a blessing, because it was not the plan. Right now, I could say that I'm a retired YouTube guy. I can say that I'm a retired YouTube guy, because I used to upload 2 videos a week, 3 videos a week, and it's like I'm done. But now I upload some stuff, which mostly what I do is uploading like documentaries from the tours, which is really fun, because people get to see what's going on backstage, what's going on in the trip. Because there's a lot of people that actually think that being on tour and being a touring musician, it's like, super easy going, and it's super glamorous, and you're going to go on stage and you're going to party and everything. That it's not happening. Like, yes, you're going to suffer in the airport. You're going to be on the road. What's going to happen if you really need to take a shit and you're in the bus? It's like, it's crazy bad, right? And that kind of stuff is on those videos, which is not trying to take off the magic of being on tour, but it's like, check this out. It's a great effort. And, the fact that you're paying a ticket to go to a show, right? It makes the difference. And you're going to see that there's a lot of hard work behind it. And I think that it's really cool, because I stay in touch with the fans a lot with these documentaries. So I'm going to keep doing those. But yeah, it's like, I think that the blessing really is that I get to be in these countries of these people that have been watching my videos for years, and now we can hang out after the show, or with a VIP packages or something. It's really cool.
It's exactly like you said. It's not like the 80s. It's not this luxury life, or the hotel partying and all the food. Shit, you're lucky to get a bologna sandwich, and you'd take any type of bologna to eat during the on tour, because you're lucky to get that, unless you're a well-established band. You know what I'm saying? And the poor, and having just eaten tuna and crackers for like weeks upon weeks, and you're just done. Like, I don't want to see another can of fucking tuna in my life. So
at least tuna is kind of healthy. At least.
that's true. That is true. But after that, you're your buddy, and you're on a bus, and it's like, stop, just let me go side of the road. Let me go.
It is. It's like, dude, now I understand a lot the decline of the Western civilization too. The metal years. I get it so much. And this is like a film that with the guys of Quarantine, we love that film because it's so real. It's what's going on. This guy, Randy O, that said, if I don't make it, it's like he wants to be like Led Zeppelin or The Doors, but better. He's nuts. I love that he's nuts.
Other than the song Tempo, I know you got some other new ones that are out there. Did you add anything differently on those singles that people are not accustomed to hearing from you, possibly? Did you add anything differently, maybe?
Well, I can say that now with the singles that are coming up now, they have like a little bit of post-punk bits. The new single that is coming out, and one of them is called Midnight Crisis. And in Spanish is Crisis de Medianoche, which is the original song title. But it has like this little spicy things from post-punk music. I really like Killing Joke. And recently, the guitar player passed away.
Yes.
And it's crazy because Killing Joke is one of my favorite bands ever. It's like I listen to it at least once a week. And the fun story. One day I was walking here in my country, my city, and I see this guy sitting in this like restaurant table, and it was Jazz Coleman from Killing Joke. I was like, what is he doing here? He doesn't even have tour dates in Peru. And when I talked to him, the nicest guy ever. It's like, I found out how one of the nicest guys ever makes this so fucking dark music. That's what's sauce. So good, man. but yeah, it has like little post-punk bits there. Should be good.
Was there a single that totally ended up sounding different than what it was intended to for these new ones?
I think the fact that the production value there, like in Sigma, there's like a keyboard. The drummer, Eduardo Baldo, he plays for Red Devil Bartex, which is a band, LA-based band. He's a great drummer. And the fact that I did not mix the song with a friend, like a close friend, because your friends are going to try to, I have a lot of friends that are involved in the industry and everything, but I wanted to try something new. I wanted, I want to sound like these guys, right? I wanted to be like, and I think that's probably the best decision I made, because when I listened to it, how it was like the rough demo and how it sounds now, it's great, because it's like, I think that's the point of the whole thing, trying to make it be the best thing it could be, right?
Working with all these musicians that you worked with, especially Slash and Dino and Michelangelo, what advice have they gave you? Have they actually, saw your videos and heard your music? What advice have they gave you to maybe just add something new to it or inspire you more?
One of the I think from all these guys that you're mentioning right now, the one that really gave me like cool advice was Dino when we were on tour. Because when we're on tour with Covering the Lotus, which was a really bad experience for sure, we were like carrying like cabinets and heads and everything, and we were like just pushing everything to the trailer. And one day Dino comes to me and tells me, dude, why don't you go digital? This is 2013, so it's been a long time ago. And asking, what do you mean with that? Dude, stop using the cab and the head, go digital, straight to the PA. Like, don't destroy your back with the cabinets, right?
Okay.
And I tried that. I tried going digital, and it was so crazy good. I could watch the videos and everything. It was the other guy, the other guitar player. He had like the cab and the head and everything. I just brought like a pod, like a next to live, straight to the PA. And it sounded really good. It sounded really, really good. It's like it's not the same, right? But it was like, I could tell like sometimes it's not, it doesn't matter the amount of gear you have. It's like how you use it and how you play it. So yeah, man. I mean, that was the best thing the best advice Dino ever gave me was go digital. Save time, save money, because you got to get a trailer to grab your stuff. So that was one of the best things that he ever told me, because I'm doing that right now too. Every time I go on tour with with Chris in Quarantine, with Saratoga, full digital, and it's been great so far.
Look, I know these new songs are your babies. I totally get that, Charlie. But are any of these singles standing out more to you than any right now? Are there one that you just like, man, we nailed it on that one?
I gotta stay with Sigma for now, because it to me it represents something really cool, about my relationship with Dino and Eduardo, the drummer. Besides, it's the fact that every time I get to listen to it, or I see a comment or people adding it to their playlist or anything, it's really cool, because Dino is one of my guitar heroes. He's one of the first South American heritage guys, or Latino heritage guys that I see that, man, this guy is, I believe that modern metal owes him a lot. They owe him a lot. And yeah, man, I just think that it's something that I never thought, like 15 years ago, I would have never thought it would be possible, to make music with him. So there's something special going on there.
I know this is a singles world, an all digital world now. It's totally different from like 30 years ago, honestly, big time. But are you wanting to create a full length album, or maybe an EP down the road, or just stick with doing the singles?
These are like the songs that are going to be in the album. The full album comes out in maybe late May, maybe so it's coming out very soon. And it's called The Mother of All Addictions. In Spanish is La Madre de Todos los Vicios, which is probably procrastination. So I'm going to release this album, and yeah, man, these are like, just like little sneak peeks of what's going to happen.
So it's going to be released later this month of May, correct?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man.
Oh, buddy. Now we're just going to get to know Charlie upon Charlie, okay? We're not going to focus on what he's done or anything. I'm going to pick his brain. I'm going to put him on a hot seat. So, and I know this is an open-ended question, but I mean, it can go to any rabbit holes. But you know what? I'm just going to ask. If you could write an album equivalent to your favorite band's album, Charlie, which album would it be possible?
Oh, man, that's a really hardcore question, man. That's super hardcore. But if there was an album, like, I would say Van Halen 1. Okay. Dude, because of many things there. It's like I have one of the original copies of that. My sister went on this trip outside of Peru. Back in the day, you couldn't find this original music in Peru. It was really hard to get before internet, right? And the thing is that she brought me to Van Halen 1. It's one of those albums that it's like 30 minutes or less. I don't remember, but it's crazy good. It's like, it's straight to the point. It's like, it's so hard. It's like when people ask me, like, what's your favorite, David Lee Roth era or Sammy's, right? I gotta go with David Lee Roth, because it's the one that made me fell in love with the band. It's not the fact that I don't like the Sammy era, but the David Lee Roth era is like just a party all the time. It's crazy good. There's no space for romance, right? So yeah, man, that album, so good. And it's like just one guitar. That's the craziest thing.
I want to jump back here for just a minute, because you said something very interesting. You said it was very hard to get music down in Mexico. I mean, why was it so difficult? Just not being able to bring stuff across, or
in Peru, it's way more south.
I'm sorry. Okay.
The thing is that back in the day, the retail stores and everything, if you wanted some rock or heavy metal, you had to go to underground stores, right? Like no so big stores or mainstream stores. Now everywhere you go, you're going to find music and original music, right? But back in the day, it was really hard. You had to order them, like not only on the internet. You had to make a phone call or tell someone to buy it somewhere and bring it here. So it was kind of hard. It was not like now that you can get even like, you can learn songs watching YouTube videos. You can actually listen to a song by, it's crazy, because every time I think about it, it was how hard it was to get a CD, how hard it was to get a cassette tape. And it's crazy now that you can find everything. You just open your Spotify and there's everything you need, right?
It's at the tip of your fingers now compared to what it used to be, and it's just like, oh my god, it's the buffet of music. I don't know where to start at. It's like, oh, click, 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 click all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy because now you can actually get to support bands with that. Just
Yep.
sharing their music, somebody's going to listen to it and somebody's going to buy the album. Maybe you share it and 10 of your friends saw that. Maybe one of them is going to support the band.
Yeah,
It's like, it's
and that's why I
it's
do
for
this.
free.
Yeah, that's why I do this. You know, if I get one person to go and dig a band that I have on here, I've done my job.
That's a way. That's a way. And thank you for that, man. I hope that one of your fans actually get to listen to Sigma.
Yeah, I want them to go check out your music and stuff because it's very hard to stay with your passion and it just don't work out. I mean, I've been there. It sucks, and you just have to go do something else to provide. But it's just I see all these musicians that I talk to, and it's a struggle. It's not like it used to be because now it's so fucking hard because you've got an abundance of everybody being home putting out music, and it's like, okay, what's going to stand out compared to 15 other bands that sound the same?
Yeah, it's like, for example, what I've realized too is that a lot of studios are kind of more like the expensive ones, like the big ones. Some of them are kind of like right now, like closing because people prefer to record at home and just send it to someone else to,
Yeah.
But that's a kind of sad part of it because it's like something's growing, but something's dying. It's crazy.
Yep. I know you've been in some iconic rock and roll bands, of course, but we're just going to do like what you would want to do. Okay. So if you could be a member in an iconic band and play one of their legendary shows, which band would it be and what show would it be possibly?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I would say maybe Guns N' Roses, maybe.
Okay.
Guns. It can I maybe Guns.
Yeah.
Maybe Kiss. Maybe Guns or Kiss. Yeah.
Can't go wrong with either or.
I know, man. It's like I'd love to have the makeup on.
I don't think Kiss ever caused the riot like Guns N' Roses had several times. So you're safe there.
Yeah, it's like I was about to say Metallica probably, but I said nah. I'm gonna be like more emotional about it. It's like I love Metallica, one of my top. It's in my top 5 for sure. But I cannot be like, I cannot lie to myself. I really love those other 2 bands like a lot. But I have even like Kiss socks.
All right, so I want your opinion on this. And this is where I have a hard problem with Kiss.
Right.
Don't do 15 farewell tours. Be done and go. Just do it. Now they're wanting to rebrand, not rebrand it, but maybe have like their what do they want to do?
The avatars?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, man?
I mean, I got to tell you a fun story before I give you my opinion, my honest opinion. This has nothing to do with it's Frehley, baby. It has to do with Gene. When I was playing with Cobra the Lotus had this like executive producer, and that was Gene Simmons because he had Simmons Records. So the first time I ever went was in LA. I go into the Whiskey A Go-Go dressing room, and Gene Simmons was there, and he tells me, "Hi, Charlie Parra. Welcome to America. I hope the land of opportunity is treating you well." It was great. I could not speak in English, so I said, "Oh, Gene." And then in the floor, in the Whiskey A Go-Go floor, there was this like pick, like a Kiss Gene Simmons guitar pick or what, bass pick. And I grab it and I say, "Hey, Gene, this is yours." And he told me, "No, Charlie, now that's yours." That was great. But my honest opinion is that I went to the Kiss End of the Road tour here in Peru, actually. And I went to the show, and it was really cool because it was like the final night ever, right? In the country.
Yeah, right.
And then I have these 2 friends, really close friends. There are Joey Casada and Joe McGuinness, and who is a guitar player in quarantine. And the thing is that they go to the New York show at the Madison Square Garden. I almost go there, but I wasn't tour with Saratoga. Besides, it was like a really complicated thing to, go to New York and the hotel room, the trip and everything. Thing is that they just told me, "Dude, it was another day in the office for them. They just sent me the set list. It was, hey, it's the same set list they did like 20 minutes from my place, right? And now that the avatars appeared and everything, like my honest opinion is that was such a disappointing, I think it was a really disappointing closure to something so epic.
Yeah.
And there was not even a video package or anything. It's like, dude, there was no really like an effort for the fans, which the fans built that. It's like, of course they built that, but it's the fans would matter. And it was like it's like a bittersweet thing, because it's like, it's the end. And now that you mentioned the avatars, in a way, it's like, oh man, with the sorrow of my heart, it's like, I'm so glad it's over.
What's been your most memorable show that you have been a part of that you still cannot believe to this day that you were, Charlie? Possibly, if that's happened already.
I think that one of the best moments so far, I was playing in Colombia recently. There is this big festival that is called Rock al Parque. Okay, and it's one of the biggest shows in South America, actually, one of the biggest festivals. And I always had this goal that I really wanted to play there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got to play there with Saratoga. That was great. And the thing is that it was one of the biggest crowds I ever played for. But besides that, people actually knew who I was. That was crazy. That was, shocking. And the fact that I was having breakfast the day that we were supposed to play, I was having breakfast with Beanie Stigma. That was great. And such a great guy. Like, the hardcore legend is there. And he was the sweetest guy. It was a great experience, man. It was a great experience. I cannot lie that one of my favorite shows was the first time I played with Chris Jericho in quarantine. That was crazy good, because there was something that was totally unexpected to play in that band. And there are so many moments, but I would have to pick those because they're pretty recent, right?
Yeah.
There's maybe something that I'm forgetting, but definitely not a show with Cover the Lotus. Definitely not.
My final question, and this is full circle, because I believe, and I totally wholeheartedly believe in full things come full circle. But picking that guitar up as a request from your therapist, has it paid off? Has it met your expectations and then some?
Big time, because people really did not expect anything good happening in the future till that appeared in my life. It's like, man, I even gave a TED talk about that. so it's crazy. And I could never be like more grateful for that. It's like, there are things that happen for a reason, right? It's like, I was like a really bad student. I was like struggling with learning, but in the end, that diagnosis was not right. I had no ADHD. If I had that, how do I get to the airport on time? It's like, I did not have that. I just didn't care about the other stuff. I just wanted to, find my passion, and I'm glad I did. And I'm really blessed that I did that at the time.
All right, Charlie, my friend, how can folks stay in touch with you? Buy this new album that's going to drop sometime in May, late this May. These singles, everything under the name of Charlie Parra. How can they do that, my friend?
My name is right here, because I can say, hey, search for Charlie Parra del Riego, and they're going to wait, how do I spell that? So this is how we can spell it. And it's going to be on YouTube, on Spotify, pretty much everywhere. So it's coming out very soon. And thanks a lot to all your listeners, man. Thanks for having me here in your show, man.
I'm going to have all these links in this podcast once it airs. So that way nobody can make a mistake of where to find it at, because, I want to help these bands out for sure. Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Please go to YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube page, because sadly, if I don't get a lot of subscribers and views, I'm not going to get the big boys on here like I used to. And that's just the way it is now, unfortunately. And I would put my podcast up against anybody. I'm not arrogant. I just know what I bring to the table. Also, please go out and check out Charlie Parra please check out his singles that's out on YouTube right now. I guarantee you're going to love them. TIEMPO, Sigma, that's featuring Dino Cazares, and Pulsar. Also, he's set to go on summer tours with Saratoga and Quarantine. So check him out. And Charlie, my man, you're an awesome inspiration to anybody that's out there who's wanting to give up on guitar. Just keep going with it. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck from here on out, my brother.
Thank you very much, Bud. And I truly appreciate that you gave me some time to talk to you. You're really awesome, dude. That was really fun. And I'm really glad that you like my Ace Frehley impression. 10,000 balls, baby.
All right, folks, we'll see you next time.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.